We are in northern India, in Jarkhand, one of the poorest regions in the country. Deep in the crevices of this cliff, 20 or so men and women are rummaging through the dirt. They are mining for mica. There are thousands of mines like this spread across the Jarkhand region. They are not run by big corporations. Each person collects these stones for themselves.
इसे भर के
कितने और एक बार बताऊंगा सेम बताना आपको पता है ये माइका क्या होता है और क्या
नहीं सर नहीं पता है
किसको यूज होता है पता है आपको
नहीं पता
ये कितनी कीमती है वो पता है
नहीं पता है पता रहता तो
For just over $1, these women are working 8-hour days under a blazing sun.
क्या करेगा गरीब आदमी गर्मी रहे तो जोर है पेट पेन करता है भूखा नहीं मर जाऊं
It's not just adults working in these mines. Further down the valley, we spot a group of children. Kids aged between 6 and 9, working in heat that can reach temperatures of 116 degrees Fahrenheit.
गोविंद कुमार 8 साल
रोज आता है
हमारे
दो इनके साथ आता है आप क्या करते हो आप बाकी दिन में
स्कूल जाते पढ़ने के लिए
आप लोग रोज आते हैं क्या नहीं तो कब कब आता है यहाँ पे छह बजे से कितने घंटे काम करते हैं
कॉपी कलम भेज जाते हैं इसलिए करता हूँ कॉपी कलम लेते हैं
और
साबुन
और
जब नाश्ता खाते हैं 10 रुपये
This desert landscape hosts hills that are full of this mineral. India is the largest producer of these shiny strips, found by simply reaching down and collecting them from the ground. This raw material is little known to the public, but is in fact integral for a multitude of products that we use in our everyday lives. It can be found in car paint, as an isolating material for electronic parts, and even as an ingredient in the cosmetics industry. When crushed into a powder, mica is found in almost every beauty product. Mica. Mica. To find out more about the product's importance in the beauty industry, we head to the Carousel du Louvre at the Makeup in Paris trade fair, destined for cosmetic professionals and experts in this raw material. There aren't any stands for Chanel, Dior, or L'Oreal here, as most big brands like these don't make their own products, instead outsourcing to manufacturers who are mostly in Italy. Natural mica is an essential ingredient in makeup such as mascara, blush, lipstick, and foundation.
With this, you're actually just physically pressing organic pigments into mica. The way most companies will formulate, they'll go with mica usually as their base for, let's say, a pressed powder.
La mica dà un effetto perlescente ai prodotti. A seconda delle dimensioni di questa particella possiamo avere un effetto perlescente più marcato. Quando invece la mica è più piccola serve per dare quello che si chiama il fondo al prodotto. Significa che il prodotto diventa meno trasparente e in applicazione si vede di più il colore, si nota di più. Questo vede un po' di perlescenza, un po' di come se ci fossero dei brillantini.
Sì.
E questo è l'effetto che dà la mica o la perla nel prodotto cosmetico praticamente.
Basically there's mica everywhere. Yes. You find it in the shampoo, you find it in the toothpaste. Everywhere you have this pearly effect, you have mica products.
Manufacturers are well versed in their recipes and processes. But do they know where their raw materials are sourced?
Buongiorno, Barenzelli, piacere. Salve.
They're aware of the child labor issues and claim they are very concerned about it.
Ci sono dei fornitori che certificano determinate cose, un produttore deve tener conto di tutta questa filiera. Ci affidiamo al fornitore che fa delle dichiarazioni e poi so che ci sono anche degli enti certificatori che vanno a certificare che queste fonti di origine siano, in questo caso, non sfruttamento del lavoro.
Noi usiamo miche di cui conosciamo la provenienza e il fornitore e sono nelle liste delle grandi multinazionali, perché le multinazionali questo problema lo hanno già affrontato e lo stanno costantemente affrontando. Stanno compilando liste di fornitori che si adeguano a un rispetto del sociale e a un rispetto delle norme di buona fabbricazione.
Grazie mille.
But what is the real story behind these claims? Mica can be found all over the world. The major producers are the US, South Korea, Brazil, Canada, China, and of course, India. According to the official organization Eurostat, India represents 30% of all mica imported into Europe. Officially, mica produced in India comes from Rajasthan. But in reality, most of the deposits are found in the states of Jarkhand and Bihar, a region where mica mining happens illegally and in secret. Almost 90% of mica. So can we really be sure of the conditions that this essential mineral for our skin is extracted? We're back in Jarkhand. These wild valleys, which spread for miles, were declared as a natural reserve by the state in the 1990s. In order to protect them, the authorities banned all mica mining. However, this drone footage shows that there are huge numbers of mines here. These surface craters testify to the sheer amount of mining that's been carried out by villagers, even in areas that are very difficult to access. Some miners are using dynamite to open up the mountains, whilst others use more rudimentary methods. In order to understand why this mining has taken place over 40 years, despite the bans in place, we decided to get in touch with the miners. It was hard to spot them in the field. After 2 days of searching, we met a family. Anil is 25 years old. Every day he comes here to mine mica with his wife and children.
बस वहाँ की है झारखंड के अंदर में वही बीवी बच्चा बाल बच्चा सभी बस 200-400 जो 300 उसमें खाने का भी घर में गए थे नहीं तो उसका बेचेंगे तो करेंगे तब तो फिर चावल बोलेंगे तब बनाएंगे खाएंगे बच्चे को वही पढ़ाई लिखाई करके कुछ आगे बढ़ाएंगे कुछ वही सोच रहे हैं क्या सोच रहे हैं वही सोच रहे हैं पढ़ा लिखा के कुछ नौकरी मिलेगा चाहे कुछ नहीं वही सोच रहे हैं क्या सोचें
Anil wasn't always a miner. Just 2 years ago, he was working as a farmer. He lives in this village, located at the foot of the mines, with a population of around 60 people. There is no running water or electricity, despite the brand new poles. The family's livelihood used to be farming. However, due to drought and climate change, most of the land is now barren.
हाँ ये फूल रस है ये वाला ये वो
अरे क्या कुछ कर सकता है क्या इसमें
नहीं अभी कुछ क्या बारिश होगा तब तो कुछ होगा बारिश नहीं होगा तो क्या इसमें लगेगा मिट्टी में सूखा पानी पड़ेगा तब तो
Extraction of mica is now an essential source of revenue for more than 90% of Jarkhand's population. Miners are willing to take huge risks to get their hands on it. Overmined on the surface, They have to go deeper and deeper in order to find this precious mineral. The sound of mining work near a well caught her attention.
Bye. Hello, Baya? Baya? Hello? आजा बाहर। क्या? नहीं, हम पुलिस है, ये सब तो नहीं है। हम लोग मदद करने के लिए आए हैं।
ठीक है।
ठीक है।
कोई बात नहीं।
आपका नाम क्या है?
करण सिंह।
करण सिंह।
हाँ जी।
मगर ये देखो ऐसा जल गया तो क्या होगा?
है क्या करें फिर उसका, कोई खास नहीं है, बिल्कुल तांबा है। एक खतरे वाला ही काम है, जो बात है सो सही है, लेकिन क्या करें मजदूर पेट के लिए तो अपना सरकार हमारे लिए कुछ दे नहीं गए, छोड़ गए कि भाई तुम्हारी नौकरी मिल जाए तो कहीं काम करो। पढ़े लिखे इंसान के हमारी तरफ तो उतना है नहीं वैल्यू।
Karan is 35 years old and has 2 children. He allows us to follow him into the tunnel he has built. Every month, around 12 miners die in the region because of these dangerous underground quarries. Almost 50 feet underground, the air supply is running low. It's around 113 degrees, and there's nothing in place to hold up the structure. It could collapse at any moment. Karan and his friend Ravi spend 8 hours a day in the darkness here. This ordeal brings them around 300 rupees a day, the equivalent of $2.75.
साल तो हमने काम नहीं किए, मतलब 4 महीना काम किए। बात पहले का जो कम से कम 40-50 साल दादा लोग को।
तो ये सब सुनकर आपको ये नहीं लगता डरने लगता?
खौफ तो है, बिल्कुल खौफ है, ऐसी कोई बात नहीं। इंसान है, इंसान की जगह तो खौफ होते ही हैं, पर क्या करें इस चीज़ को। पर कोई इतना हमारे यहाँ घटना उतना ये नहीं है। अरे कभी कल भगवान ने चाहा तो हो जाता है, बाकी ऐसा तो घटना हुई नहीं हमारे बीच। बड़ा सा दे दे। अच्छा कुछ नहीं है, ऊपर इसके मैके के मुकाबले में है नहीं और उतना है नहीं। इसका एक पत्थर आता है, जैसे ये हो गया, तो जैसे कि जो दिशा ये मोड़ा हुआ वही दिशा से हम लोग चल रहे हैं इसमें। अब इसे इधर नहीं है तो ये दिशा को छोड़ दिए, बाकी इस दिशा में है इस चीज़ का, तो इसी दिशा को लेके हम लोग जा रहे हैं। हाँ, मैका तो अच्छा क्वालिटी का ही है।
आपको पता है ये गैर कानूनी काम है?
हाँ, 4-5 महीने पहले करीब आए हुए थे, तो उनका कहना था कि भाई गैर कानूनी चीज़ है, तुम इस चीज़ को यूज़ नहीं करो, तो काम मत करो। मना करते हो, उनका कहना है कि हमारे सामने आना नहीं, आएगा तो भी तो जो कानूनी तौर है वो उसका तो अपना तो अपनाएंगे ही अपनाएंगे, चाहे तो वैसे छोड़ दो तो थाने ले जाओ। वो हिसाब से कई बार बीच में भी छोड़ देते, गरीब समझ के छोड़ो, क्या करेगा ये गरीब बेचारा। 1000 रुपये मंथली है करीब, इधर उधर जो आ जाते हैं कई बार।
The mountain, however, is less forgiving. Karan plays down the danger, but people have died in his own village. These 2 miners live in Tisri, a town with a population of around 4,000 that's surrounded by mining deposits. Mining is the main source of income here. 3 years ago, disaster hit. This woman lost her husband to the mines. She has 4 children. Like most of the Jarkhand villagers, she cannot read or write.
हमारा नाम है अनिता देवी। अब उम्र हम बता पारो अपन उम्र का या कि हमने कैसे माँ बाप ने जानते।
आपका जो आपका पति है उसको आप उनका बारे में बता सकते हैं, क्या हुआ, घटना क्या हुआ?
हम मिलकवा गलती वहाँ मैका कोड़ाइल नहीं तो खादे में मेरी गलती कोई वहाँ मैका कोड़ाइल नहीं वहाँ खाद में देव गलती तो वहाँ इतनी गलती माटी पानी गिर गलती था वहाँ देव गलती
और भी लोग गुजरे थे उसमें?
हाँ 3 गोटे हलती 3 गो हल
यहाँ पे मत
Since her husband died, Anita is the only provider for her family. Every day she walks over a mile under the hot sun on rocky paths before reaching the summit of this mountain. When they aren't at school, her children come with her to work. The youngest is just 4 years old.
हमने खाधा ना भूखा पार गया वहाँ तर तो एक हम चुनो ये बिजली फेंकला चुनो तो इतने कमाइबे इतने कमाई हमने
Guys who want to take care of the kids and see the kids are welcome.
चल चल धपम ना दखल ना कुछ दखल में मार को रुके की करा बेड़ गला चार गला खाली करे कमती गेल त रोज रोज कइले तेल एक दिन कमती रह 4 दिन ना खाती रह दम बैठल कोई धुपम ना खाती धुपम 4 दिन बैठल खाती एक दिन कमाई तेल त नहीं कमाई पार के देखे की करबे भूखल बाल बुतरू मोरो अपने भूखल रहबे तबे बाल बुतरू काने लागू।
After 3 hours, Anita and her children have collected enough to feed themselves for a day. It's a poor man's work, but many big businesses rely on it. Back with Karan and Ravi. We're trying to understand where their mica goes once it's sold. Is it destined for the European market?
ये अभी जो लिया था अपने माइंड से वो कहाँ जाता है?
अब रखिए अपना गिरिडीह जिला।
नहीं आप किसको देते हो?
देते वहीं उसी जगह पे।
अच्छा वो वहाँ पे?
हाँ हाँ जो अपना थाना बोल के है 7 किलोमीटर दूरी आगे मेन रोड पे।
अच्छा वहाँ पे बहुत सारे कलेक्टर
बहुत सारे हैं वहाँ पे जो लेने वाले बड़े बड़े पार्टियाँ लोग हैं वो दूर जो भेजते
हैं वो वहाँ जाते हैं फिर वहाँ से गिरिडीह जाते हैं।
हाँ वहाँ से सबका ये अपना बना हुआ है जो लाइसेंस
उसका गिरिडीह जाता है। लाइसेंस बना हुआ मतलब?
लाइसेंस इसका जैसे कि नहीं बताएं कि आप एक गैर कानूनी चीज़ है तो कई बार इसका लिस्ट जो किया हुआ होता है लाइसेंस के लिए तो लाइसेंस ही काम कर सकते हैं।
किसके जाकर देख सकते हैं हम?
पर वहाँ जाइएगा ना तो किसी को आप अपने हिसाब से बोलिएगा तो बता देगा वो कि अबरक का काम जो होता है। कई बार जैसे कि फैक्ट्रियाँ बने हुए जैसे कि लगेगा कि फैक्ट्री है बड़े बड़े।
We realize that despite this product being illegally sourced, it can be easily exchanged on the market through several intermediaries. At the end of each day, the villagers take what they've collected towards the valley to collection points, where the minerals are sold by weight. These small retailers supply the production line and sell mica to the local wholesalers. The local residents direct me to the wholesalers that will eventually buy their product. We head to the center of town to meet them. There are more than a dozen of them, as mica production is the town's only industry. At first, they refused to be filmed. Eventually, one of the wholesalers agreed to respond to our questions off camera. We filmed the following scenes with a hidden camera.
कहाँ से लेके आते हैं जो कलेक्टर लेके आते हैं वो यहाँ आता है।
The wholesaler admits that the mica is sourced from illegal mines, but as soon as we suggest that it comes from child labor, he shuts down.
पूरा बहुत सारे लोग आकर
बच्चे तो काम नहीं कर रहे हैं। बच्चे जो हैं वह झींगा माइका में काम नहीं कर रहे हैं, वो गलत अफवाह है। मगर क्या है कि बच्चे जो कहीं काम हो रहे हैं तो बच्चे कभी खाना पहुंचाने के लिए चले जाते हैं और खाना पहुंचाने के क्रम में तुमको है कोई मीडिया उसको भेज लेता है, सिर्फ उसी को ही भेज लेता है, उसी को भेज लेता है। मतलब बच्चे वहाँ पे काम नहीं करता है, बच्चे काम नहीं करते। आप एक्सपोर्ट करेगा नहीं तो आप कहाँ भेजते हो? आप यहाँ नहीं है, यहाँ बम्बई में सूरत में है और बाकी तो चाइना जर्मनी में कौन सी कंपनी करता है?
One of the main buyers of the mica that's produced in the region is, according to this man, the German group Merck. Merck is one of the largest corporations in Germany. Founded in 1668, this multinational earns over $16 billion in the chemical, cosmetics, and pharmaceutical industries.
Merck, as the oldest chemical and pharmaceutical company, bundles 350 years of expertise from healthcare, life science, and performance materials and translates it into cosmetic ingredient development. We call this translational cosmetics.
The European leader in supplying raw materials to the cosmetics industry. Subsidiaries such as the Colorona and Timuron Group are the main mica pigment suppliers to big brands such as L'Oreal, Chanel, and Guerlain.
Is the Merck way to innovate in beauty.
At this beauty trade fair, we approached the representatives of the German company to question them on their supply chain. It's a sensitive subject, so we chose not to warn them that we were coming.
Bonjour, Brando Barenzelli, enchanté, envoyé spécial. On est en train de faire un sujet sur le marché de la cosmétique et du Mica. Donc on est en train de voir plusieurs stands. On a déjà vu certains producteurs. Est-ce que vous pouvez répondre à nos questions?
Non, on n'a personne à la communication.
Pardon?
On n'a personne à la communication. Vous aviez pris rendez-vous pour cette interview?
Non.
Alors ils sont en Allemagne.
Ouais.
Ça va être compliqué. Ils sont en congé en plus, là, l'Allemagne. Non, là, il faut aller prendre un rendez-vous avant.
D'accord. Parce qu'on n'a pas pris rendez-vous avec les autres stands. Hein. On a juste posé les questions aux gens et ils nous ont répondu.
Nous, c'est comme ça qu'on fonctionne. Voilà.
The stand manager suggests we write an email to her colleagues in Germany. We did this the next day. The company declined our offer of an interview without giving any reason. Whilst waiting, they suggested we read their corporate responsibility information accessible on their website. It claims a zero-tolerance policy for child labor. To confirm these statements, we headed back to India, to Koderma, a city in northern Jarkhand. This town, with a population of 24,000, is the hub of the mica industry, containing the majority of the export businesses and treatment facilities.
Hello. हाँ कौन?
Shaitan is 25 years old, and he's one of the exporters in town. When I introduce myself as a journalist, he agrees to show me his warehouses and respond to questions about child labor.
मोहन, कुछ माल पक्कल होगा उसमें, ले ले आओ तो, नहीं तो वहाँ जहाँ कैल्साइन मशीन.
His business has around 50 employees.
The process is that we are screening the raw materials there in the screener. All the sand particles and the impurities is out from the screener, and the materials will be like clean, sand free.
Sorted, ground, and filtered, the crystals are then refined one final time before becoming the final product.
This is impurity-free mica flex. It is widely used in pigments and cosmetic industries. Impurity-free mica flex.
These precious mica flakes are wrapped and then exported to Europe and sold at around $550 per ton. Listening to the young entrepreneur, there's a good reason his mica isn't sourced from mines that use child labor. It comes from Rajasthan, where extraction is legal and controlled by the authorities.
This is the lorry of Rajasthan that comes from the legal mica mine and that unloading in our factory, where all the mica mines is legally run by their owners.
According to NGOs, 3/4 of the country's mica deposits aren't situated in Rajasthan, but rather around Koderma in Jarkhand. When working on the Merck investigation, we found a database that records mica exports from the port in Calcutta. We saw that Merck gets several containers a week delivered to Germany and is supplied by 2 exporters based in Koderma, Brando Barenzelli and Pashisia and Company, both businesses that we know well. When we were conducting our investigation in the villages, the wholesaler confirmed that these businesses work with illegal mine.
आप एक्सपोर्ट करेगा नहीं तो आप कहाँ बेचते हो? रामदेव पर किसे बेचते हो?
वही लोग जो एक्सपोर्ट करता है वो उसके।
We managed to find these 2 suppliers to Merck on the outskirts of Koderma. They're located right next to one another. We pay them a visit with our hidden cameras. As soon as we arrive at Pashisia, all the workers scurry away in a matter of seconds. Only one man welcomes us, a man who seems to be the boss.
Yes, Brando. Yes. How are you?
Posing as a potential buyer, I try to find out more about his suppliers and clients, but the man quickly becomes suspicious.
Actually, at the moment, very sorry that I am not able to discuss any business topics without my father's permissions because he is a senior person.
Your father?
Yes.
Yes.
We hit a brick wall. After, we head to Ramdu Modi. We're welcomed by the foreman, and the boss says over the phone that he can't see us. Disappointed, we are getting ready to leave when we spot another factory just 100 feet away from the first 2. This time, the boss is there, and he welcomes us with open arms. He knows his neighbors well and works with them often. Still posing as a potential buyer, I ask him about Ramdu Modi and Pashisia.
मर्क में ज़्यादा माइका ही लोगा जाता है। मर्क कंट्री जर्मनी कंट्री में मर्क है ना, एक है, वो लोग अलग-अलग नहीं है।
The man is happy to chat and reveals the secrets about trade with foreign countries.
उन लोग बस लाइसेंस भी है?
हाँ, एक्सपोर्ट लाइसेंस। इतनी सारे नहीं करते लेकिन चलता है पेपर। कोई 200 टन दिया तो 200 टन मंथली तो उधर से आता है, इलीगल आ रहा है अभी।
ये सारे इलीगल?
इलीगल नहीं है। पेपर देखिए, ये लोग क्या कर रहे हैं अभी? राजस्थान में लीज इजी है। कैसे? भेलवाड़ा राजस्थान में भी माइका मिलता है, वहाँ पेपर इजी है। तो ये लोग का किया, वहाँ लीज ले लिया, वहाँ से कुछ माल ले आ रहा है, पेपर लेके आ जा रहे हैं।
While their mica comes from illegal mines in Jarkhand, the trick for exporters is to buy a license from Rajasthan to make their businesses legitimate and to export their products with the correct paperwork. The man then introduces us to his colleague.
Hello.
He informs us that it is also possible for import businesses to get a certificate of ethical conduct regarding child labor. All you have to do is pay.
फैक्ट्री के नाम पर मिलता है, कागज मिल जाएगा, जीएसटी के नाम पे माल चल जाएगा, वो सब सारा प्रोसेस कर देंगे।
सर कैसे पेपर कहाँ से बनता है?
पेपर बोले नहीं बोलते हैं ना,
वो दे देते हैं।
वो सब अवेलेबल कर लेंगे।
तो इसे
फिर अगर आप पेपर खोजिएगा तो इसका कॉस्ट बढ़ जाएगा।
अच्छा,
पेपर का कागज में पैसा लगेगा ना।
हाँ, उसका भी ऐसे जरूरत है।
तो फिर वो तो करेंगे।
No matter where the mica is from, it's easy to get papers that prove it hasn't been produced by child labor. Here is what the certificates look like. This particular copy comes from an Indian company that provides international certification. It ensures that the mica has never been touched by a child's hands. According to this Indian exporter, these papers are a mandatory requirement for international groups like Merck.
नहीं बोले, वाजपेयी जी बोले थे ना, शादी नहीं है
हो जाता।
शादी नहीं तो बोला ना कि जिसके घर में गाय नहीं है दूध नहीं पीती है क्या। उसी तरह जहाँ लीज नहीं वहाँ कागज नहीं बनता है। अच्छा, नहीं चल रहा है दुनिया में।
Of course, large corporations like Merck conduct their own inspections, but according to this boss, exporters also have tricks to get around this.
जितने भी इंस्पेक्टर और आते थे, मिस्टर वगैरह जो भी आते थे, तो हम ही उनको लेके माइंस जाते थे, विजिट करवाते थे। बहुत डेलीगेट्स उनका आया था।
नहीं, मैंने पूछा वैसे इलीगल माइंस तो है, मगर बच्चे भी तो काम कर रहे हैं।
करता भी है, तो जिस दिन इंस्पेक्शन होता है, वो आते हैं जिस दिन इंस्पेक्शन करने, उस दिन कोई बच्चा नहीं रहता, ना लेडीज ना बच्चा, कोई नहीं रहता।
So how can we be sure that the mica imported by this German group has never passed through a child's hands? Upon my return to Paris, I wanted to confront the Merck group with my investigation. I sent an email to the communications department recounting the discoveries I'd made in India. During our investigation in Koderma, we spoke with some of their partners who told us that both Ramdu and Pakisya, like all other exporters, provide themselves with mica collectors in Jarkhand, whose mica comes from illegal mines involving child labor. In their response, the business sent us their corporate responsibility information again, assuring us, based on our available information, your statement that our suppliers would source third-party mica from illegal mines involving child labor is incorrect. Continuing our research, we found a Paris-based association, the Responsible Mica Initiative, an organization that seeks to eradicate child labor in the Indian mica mines. It states that it lobbies the Indian authorities and carries out social action in nearly 80 villages across Jarkhand. Among the 50 or so sponsors, Merck, L'Oréal, Chanel, and Yves Rocher. The manager for France has agreed to meet with us.
Bonjour, enchanté.
Enchanté.
Brando.
At their offices, we show her images that we filmed in the mines in India.
C'est intolérable en fait de voir ça et du coup il faut agir maintenant. Et c'est bien pour ça qu'on a été créé et qu'on s'est fixé des objectifs extrêmement ambitieux d'éradiquer le travail des enfants à 2022.
Fanny Fremont is aware that child labor is still an issue, but assured us that it's out of the question for brands to leave the region.
Si ces entreprises décidaient d'arrêter d'acheter du mica en Inde, finalement, c'est l'intégralité de ces familles qui n'auraient plus de revenus. Donc c'est pour ça, une fois de plus, que je dis que c'est courageux de rester, de savoir qu'il y a un problème, mais de se dire, eh ben, on reste, on prend conscience et on met toutes nos forces pour le résoudre. Le Mica est une des uniques sources de revenus. Si l'ensemble des entreprises quittaient l'Inde et allaient se sourcer ailleurs, ce serait terrible d'un point de vue social et économique.
Towards the end of our investigation, we made one last discovery. We're back in the mining region of Tisri. Over recent years of excessive exploitation, mining has had an impact on the health of the population. The village hospital has a room dedicated to people suffering from tuberculosis. Beshupal is waiting for his appointment. He has spent 10 years working in the mica mines. For the past month, he's been suffering with respiratory problems. The doctor in this makeshift hospital sees 100 or so patients a day. Around 60% of them are suffering from coughs.
जांच करवा लीजिए और ये दवा स्टार्ट के जांच के बाद रिपोर्ट दिखाइएगा उसके बाद दवा स्टार्ट करवाएंगे आप ठीक है Any persons who work in these mining areas may engulfing the dust particles are they converted into that problems if that is the complicated more at times that converted into the tuberculosis that is mining so maybe chance more than 80 to 90% maybe problem is there due to the dust particles. So complication is maybe me or any other people who work or not work, but at this environment he live here, may be affected by these same problems.
रोज रात में खाना खाने के बाद रात में एक टैबलेट खाना है ठीक है हाँ रात में
Do these non-regulated mines risk having an impact on the health of an entire generation? We can't really say. But these hospitals located in mining regions see a higher rate of pulmonary illnesses than anywhere else in India. However, local residents aren't aware of this, and children are particularly at risk. An association from Koderma is campaigning to alert the miners in the villages.
We talk with the villagers not to work in mines because it gives a very bad impact to their health and send their children to schools because education is very important. We mainly aware them what are the health hazards working in mica mines.
Raul is 24 years old and comes daily to the mines accompanied by these local campaigners. He goes to families one by one to warn them. Today, the group is going to focus on the family's mother. They're asking her to stop her activity and listen to their recommendations. After a short negotiation, she agrees to take them to her home. On their way there, the group attempts to build a friendly rapport with the miners. Panchia Devi lives here with her 4 children. Her husband lives in Delhi. She has to take care of them on her own.
तो बच्चे पर क्या प्रभाव पड़ेगा, हम पर उसके बारे में कुछ मालूम है? कुछ नहीं
मालूम। कुछ रहते बचपन के जाल देवन करोगे हम तो कि
देखिए मेन है कि जैसे जो माइका जो कोड़ता है ना, तो इससे जो गर्दा निकलता है, जैसे देखिए बच्चा का टीबी भी होने का ज़्यादा डर रहता है कि बच्चा का टीबी है, खांसी उसी हो जाता है कि जो माइंस में काम करते हैं या जो ढेबरा कोड़ते हैं इससे ज़्यादा इसमें रोगी लोग टीबी की मिलता था। इसलिए गर्दा जो धीरे धीरे जाता है फेफड़ा पर, तो फेफड़ा में जो बैठता है ना, तो उस पर उसका ही करता है, जाम हो जाता है। और जाम हो जाता है तो श्वास लेने में उसको दिक्कत होता है, इसलिए इसका ये है।
The activist then makes his strongest possible argument with the mother.
नहीं भाई इसको बंद करो, लीगल नहीं है। तो बंद हो जाएगा तो फिर क्या रोजगार करेगी? मान ली ढिबरा बंद हो गया, सरकार से आगे नहीं ढिबरा नहीं कोड़े देंगे।
वे करवे कि धरती में जलम दल भगवान तो आधार देवे कर। कौन चीज मजदूरी करवे? यहाँ धान रोपेबे न करवे, मकई रोपेबे न करवे, तो मजदूरी कर।
कहाँ जाते कुछ पढ़ाई की चर्चा हुआ किसको लगा के।
क्यों रो रहे हैं? क्या क्यों रो रहे हैं?
चुप 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 रहे। कानून है, कानून है, कानून है। कुछ नहीं हो रहा है, कुछ नहीं बेटा। देख आप पढ़ा कुछ नहीं। नहीं जी पढ़े चुप।
The residents of Jarkhand are trapped in a vicious cycle. They must choose between their health or their survival. According to the NGO, the only possible solution would be an aid plan for the development of the region in order to create jobs. But the local residents are still waiting for this. How long will they have to wait?